Commonwealth of Massachusetts will not reimburse it. We've already asked the question, and that's the answer. It is not educational space, it is administrative space. It would not be paid for. And we'll address any questions that anyone has, and there's just one more thing that I'd like to say to Mr. Smith. Did you take the challenge, and did you go through the batch, and did you see what's there now?
Chair sees a lot of people waiting to be recognized. First Mr. Luongo, then Mrs. Sardella, and then Mr. Piero. Mr. Luongo, you're first.
I did take the challenge, and I did go down to the batch, and I don't agree with you. I do not find that the batch is not a suitable place to educate K through 5. I found the school impeccably clean. I found a lot of the space very well lit because of the very large windows that have all been replaced and are in excellent condition. I did not find anything that would discourage me from using it as a facility for grades K through 5. I also kept in mind when I went through the school the size of the children that will be attending school there. Tonight we saw some slides that tried to depict some overcrowding and some congestion. I could find those same locations in the Hood School. I won't speak for the Little because I haven't been over there recently. But the Hood School has many cluttered areas with boxes piled from the floor to the ceiling as well. So I do not feel that there is a problem with the Batchelder School. As far as the number of students attending our schools, a prior speaker mentioned that Ridgeway had X number of children. I don't remember what they were. But I am sure that within the next 4 years, Ridgeway's children are going to be out of the elementary school. In the new development, will be replacing those students. So in terms of the natural population of our schools, I don't see a huge increase or decrease over the next, after the year 2000. I think that, as was said previously, we're pretty much built out, and I think that things are going to stabilize. On one of Dr. Troden's slides, I noticed in the middle of one of his slides, he showed a deficiency of classrooms of minus 13. I can agree with that number, but that didn't take into account, from what I could see on the slide, the 8 additional classrooms that are being provided at the Little and the 4 modular classrooms that are going to be at the batch, which could conceivably leave us with a deficiency of minus 1. The rest of the numbers that fell below that minus 13, I think are open to various degrees of discussion, and I don't think that they really need to be part of this plan. One of them was, for instance, the all-day kindergarten.
Point of order. Please state your point of order, Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. O'Brien, I'm sorry, but I don't see a point of order. I cannot see any way of separating the argument for the need for a new school
For the argument for the need for plans.
We have to go through it. It may be painful, but we have to.
But the article asks for us to approve $225,000 plan. That's the article.
That's the argument.
And that's what they're talking about.
So based on what
Mr. Luongo, you still have a minute.
based on what I've observed and what I've tried to say, I don't feel that it warrants going ahead with this particular plan. I think that we've provided the space that we've needed for our children. I may or may not agree with the way it was done, but I think the space is there. We've been asked to focus on K through 5. Based on what's been happening with our high
Sardella, then Mr. Piero, and then Mr. Parthia. Mr. Piero, please take.
J. Piero Sandino, Rogers, sir. I want to thank Mr. Smith and Mr. Pasquale for having a brilliant ideas. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you're thinking about the kids and this and this and that, but the kids 14, 20 years from now, you're going to leave it this town here a lot of debt. You need a sewerage. Right now we're paying for the trash. Right now we're paying for the blinds you put out. Pretty soon the tax goes up. When you have a gentleman here that gets up and tell you the truth, you have a car salesman says no. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to face reality in this town here. Let's fix the school back here. Why don't we do that? Why everybody has a wish, build a new, where's the money going to come from? You are bad for your kids in the future. You're going to leave them in a bad situation this town here. This is a beautiful town, but you all deteriorating town, one by one. And I cannot see anyone in here that's interested in this town here. I am speaking for the best interest of this town here. I'm not against this town here. I'm in favor of this town here. I've been here since 1942. We built this town here. 6,000 people we built this town here. 6,000 people now come in. We want everything new. Everything new. Where is it going to come from? Do you all know that costs the money? You all working, Mr. Smith, to tell you, everybody working in family, men and wife and children, they try to make it run to me. They're running a broken down car. People, retired people in this town here, they come by lawnmower. Fixed income people, they're facing hardship in this town here. And we are spending billions, millions of dollars. We don't care, this and this and that. Nobody want to listen. It's too bad no more men like a Mr. Smith, Pasquale here, that make sense in this place here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a shame. A beautiful town, we're going to break them down, deteriorate them. Terrible thing.
I'm sorry, what happened to Mrs. Sardella? Somehow we managed to miss each other there.
Thank you. Yes, we do have a beautiful town, and I want to work to keep it that way. Right now, I don't know whether to answer Mr. Smith or Mr. Pasquale. But fortunately, I have a college education and work experience what I managed to get while I'm raising my children. So I'm going to answer Mr. Pasquale first. There's 2,500 square feet, approximately, of administrative space at the middle school. Current classroom sizes are 900 to 1,000 square feet. We're looking at 2 classrooms. The school building needs committee a few years ago studied the process and the numbers of children moving through the school system. The middle school can accommodate approximately 758 children. We have room. Classroom sizes won't be 20, but I seriously doubt they're going to be over 30. At the high school, the same thing. Our high school can accommodate the same numbers. I'd love to have a glorious auditorium where the entire town could come to witness the wonderful performances that are put on by this high school. But maybe that's something we need in a community center. We don't need it in the high school because we wouldn't utilize it. We can accommodate 750 children in this building. We have classrooms that currently can run with 10 children at the high school. Certainly more children will fit in the classroom. Those aren't the concerns. It's the elementary concerns we need to address. Trish remarked the administrative offices would not be reimbursable by the state. That's a big factor. The other issue brought up, if we left the Batchelder School open, we still need to make major renovations to that building. Renovations that include the lack of ventilation. How can that building house the technology that our children need to be successful in the future? Technology is the future. I doubt there is one business left on this earth that does not use technology. The Batchelder School, as it currently stands, can't house what we need for our children. We have classrooms at the Batchelder School that are 590 square feet. Smith, you need to be in that building when it's in session. You need to see book bags in the hallway, book bags under the chairs in the classrooms. Teachers that can't have a desk in their classroom because there are too many children's desks. We need to do a little better for our children. If we renovated the Batchelder School, the state said, sure, go right ahead and do that, but we're not going to give you a dime because it's a wooden structure. We're looking at $5 million minimum. A brand new school, $3.3 million. 64 cents on the dollar. What's the better buy? I think it's the new school. I know it's expensive. I know it's going to cost me money. My children won't benefit from the new school. But if our children aren't worth this expenditure, then tell me right now what in this beautiful town of ours is worth it. Because our children are what make our future, and our children are what make this town beautiful. Thank you.
Mr. Fortier.
Jim Pothier, 16 Burdett Road. I also serve as the chairman of the North Reading Water Commission. The reason I'm up here is every once in a while somebody says something about a new water tower. Whether we put a new school on that property, we put private homes on that property, or a new home for the New England Patriots, we still have to build a third water tower. The Water Commission is working very diligently on a water strategy for this town because this town has grown so much. We have two water towers, one built in 1938 and the other one built in 1955. So we are going to need a new water tower up there, and whether we build a school up there, we will have a water tower up there. It's in the Water Department capital plan, and it's going to happen. So I hope that might have answered some questions. I think some people are misled that, well, we have to build a water tower because we're going to build a school. No. We have to build a water tower because our water system right now is insufficient for what we have now. And we may, in fact, have to close down a water tower someday, or we may use all three. Thank you.
First Mr. Goodwin and then Mr. Baskin. Mr. Goodwin.
Point of information from one of the school committee people, please.
Well, you can
Mr.
ask
Kirby.
your question.
Okay, question is, I figured out how many kids were in each one of the three elementary schools. And in the bachelor school, we have 25 students per teacher. In the hood school, we have not the hood, not the little, it is the hood. We have 18 children per teacher. In the little school, without the modular, we have 16 children per teacher. Now that is out of whack, as far as I'm concerned. That why can't 4 students, or even 6, there's 6 students that can be put into these other schools to bring the bachelor school down in enrollment. Instead of having 25 kids in a classroom, you're going to have 20 at the least. Right now, without the modulars going on. When you put the modulars on a little school, it's going to drop down. The way I'm looking at it is you're going to have 10 kids per teacher at the little school. And if you put the modulars over the bachelor school, you're going to have 18 kids per teacher at the bachelor school. Thank you.
Is anyone from the school department? Dr. Troughton?
Well, I'd certainly in favor of more teachers, you know that, but not at 10 to 1. I believe that probably you arrived at those figures by dividing teachers and numbers of children, but we have 3 school districts, and we have kindergarten through grade 5 in 3 schools, and we have some classes that have